Hey guys, this is Diana Ballard, and welcome to the Mom Training Podcast, where we discuss the skills and strategies to create possibilities in motherhood and make it more fun, efficient, organized, and peaceful. You can find more information or connect with me online at dianaballard.com or at Diana Ballard Live on social media. Do you ever feel like you're literally running from one thing to the next? This appointment, that appointment, bringing someone here, participating there. Doesn't it seem like the to-do list can be constant sometimes? Today we're going to talk about a skill set that can easily be overlooked, isn't usually recognized as a skill, and isn't taught very often. Yet it's probably one of the most important things that we can work on in this day and age, where things go a mile a minute, opportunities are endless, anything we want is just a click away, and instant gratification is everywhere we look. We often overcommit ourselves in many areas of our life because we just can't say no. It affects our health, our relationships, our finances, and especially our peace level. So the skill set we're going to work on today is actually our ability to say no. Say what, Diana? I can say no anytime I want to. I don't need practice saying no. Well, let's discuss some things and we can evaluate ourselves at the end of the podcast and see if we need to work on it or not. Saying no can be compared to our ability to create, set, and keep boundaries for ourselves and with others. Boundaries protect what is important, and without the word no, we're lost in a sea of being jerked around by whatever wave or wind catches our sails. Not only is that hectic, but it's unhealthy. Specifically for our emotional and mental state, but also our physical health, as we're up late worrying about something, overworked because we're so engulfed in a project, have our hands in too many pots, or have committed to hundreds of activities that we're going crazy. By having so many things in our life, a lot of things suffer, especially our family life around us. And as a mom, it's super important to protect our family life, because if we don't, regret, unhappiness, and worry can creep in. It really starts with the word no. So let's dive in a little deeper. In our world today, things have really sped up, and it's hard to keep life simple. It actually takes a conscious effort to keep life simple. So many ideas of how to live, fun things to be a part of, or things that we have to do or have to be happy or successful. And in reality, we probably need a small handful of what is thrown at us, meaning the rest are expectations or fluff or not truly what will make us happy. So we're going to discuss two areas where we can think about if we really need help in saying no. The first one is saying no to and limiting the amount of outside commitments and opportunities. This could be activities, classes, events for the children. Maybe being involved in one thing would be enough for the kids instead of 3. So we're not running all over the place, taking people to different things like a chicken with our head cut off. Or volunteering too much when maybe once a week would work best for your family. Now, I'm not saying we don't help people, volunteer, answer a call for help, or be there for someone struggling. We want to be available to help the people we love and are around us. But what I am saying is choose wisely what you commit to. Sometimes it's okay to say no to something, not to commit to something, or take some time thinking about it to truly decide. Because service opportunities and helping others around us are amazing for helping us think outside ourselves, and sometimes are what we really need to get us out of our own rut or challenging time. But just be wise about your capacities and what is too much or not. Another outside idea could be working extra hours, when maybe if we budgeted our money a little differently or downsized expenses or needs, it might work too. Being a part of a million organizations with meetings, activities, and fundraising needs. Yes, these things can be helpful in feeling like a whole person, but I want you to think about if these things are completely necessary or if they're expectations we may have of what is supposed to make us happy. Well, let's ask ourselves, are we really happy? Do we feel peaceful more than overwhelmed or stressed out? Are these things we're rushing around for actually fulfilling us? Because when we're so caught up in a million things, we won't even know what truly fulfills us. So just be thinking about what outside commitments and expectations you may have, and if you need to pull back a little bit. And some outside commitments are bigger commitments. Sometimes they do take a lot more time, but you really need to balance out, man, this does take more of my time. But It fills my bucket, or I know that this is important and I need to hold on to this. And this other thing over here, I can let go because I want to spend more time here. So it's really deciding like what outside commitments are really worth it for you. To share an outside commitment or organization that is a priority for us is being a part of our church, which is service-based, where we all have delegated parts to help run everything. And yes, it does take time and energy, but the payoff is worth it. Organized learning of God's word and the gospel, fun planned activities, groups, and cool programs for our kids to be a part of. And it's fulfilling for us as adults too. So it's figuring out what is an asset for your family and protecting those times and prioritizing it into your schedule. Again, keeping family as our top priority. So the second area is one that's a little bit more sneaky, and it's the inside commitments and opportunities that we create. Meaning the ideas we come up with that aren't really that urgent or important in the moment. It's usually something we get really excited about, determined or driven about doing and doing now. But in reality, it might have been better to wait or schedule it for a better time. So I'm going to give you an example of my own to paint the picture a little clearer. So once upon a time, I had an opportunity to get buttloads of free apples from a couple orchards and neighborhood trees around. The idea came, sure, I'll pick a bunch and make my own applesauce, apple butter, and apple crisps. So 5 full packed grocery bags later, I found myself in the kitchen for days, you guys. Oh my gracious. I think it was like 3 to 4 days of peeling apples, cooking them, bottling them, and good gracious. Partway through, I was like, this is absolutely insane. But did I stop? Nope. I had started and I was determined to finish. Everything in my house and family was neglected during those days because it was way more work than I expected. I had canned before, but this amount was a whole different ballgame. I think it was like 26 pints. 26 pints, that's a lot of apple butter, okay? And I don't know, maybe 16 quarts of applesauce. Give me a break. Was it cool to do it? Sure. Will we have homemade apple products and gifts for friends for the next 5 years? You know it. But this was an example of an inside commitment and opportunity I should not have taken. I could have passed on this opportunity and everything would have survived. Yeah, and we've been eating it slowly, but a majority of it has sat on my shelves since, taking up tons of space. It's like, that was not my best choice. So inside commitments can be like new ideas that come of, yes, perfect solution of what I'm working on. I'm going to reorganize the entire house today. Pull everything out. I'm just going to do it today. And then we like forget that like we have kids and dinner and, so then our house is like a complete disaster because we pulled out like 5 closets of stuff and we're like stressed. Not worth it. Throwing a huge party or event, making a dinner that has like 5,035 steps to it. Those dinners where it's like, I have to like roast this and then I have to smush it and then I have to poke it and then I have to sit it over here and it has to sit for a minute and then I have to do this step. Those recipes. Yep. Those recipes that I'm like, okay, I am not going to look for new recipes that like have 5 million steps. It may be delicious, but it took me 5 hours. Yeah, see, these things aren't bad, and it could really be the solution to an issue, but these things need to be considered and logically thought about sometimes before we decide to just jump and move forward. Like with my personality, I have to keep the inside commitments on watch just as much or more, I would say, because I like to create, I get excited, I have to choose wisely before I jump into my own commitments. Because I've burned out many times and had a nervous breakdown in 2012 because I just overworked myself. So for me, this is serious business, and the word no to myself first and outside opportunities is a very important skill set and strategy for me to practice. It's something for us to think about and really evaluate where we might need to practice using no a little more. Because it's really about using our minds to think wisely about what we're doing, how it affects our family, and which things are really important. and truly use your higher power and intuition to really think about each thing you want to step into or commit to before you take that step. Think about it for a day or so, logically go through if it's something that's worth it and fits in your priorities, and if so, move forward. And if not, don't. But again, taking it back to the mindset that we have the power to create our lives, control what we can, and let go of what we can't. And sometimes that may look like someone asking you to do something. So if it's a no, I can respond pretty quickly. Like, I'm so sorry that doesn't work with my schedule. I know that that's not going to work with this and this and this. Thank you so much for asking me. But if it's something that I'm actually considering a yes, like taking on a new project, someone asking me to do some type of work for them, speaking someplace, stuff like that, where it's like, okay, I would need a babysitter for this. This is something that's a little bigger than just like, can we talk on the phone? Right, what I'm saying? So when those opportunities come in, I will say, I will need to think about it and I will tell you in 24 hours. And the thing is, when you say that, you actually have to respond in 24 hours because it's a trust thing. It's a reliability thing. So that is some way that you can give yourself a timeline of saying, okay, I'm not going to jump on this right now. This would be really good. It pays really well. It's a great opportunity. It would be a great time to speak to a bunch of people. I love it. But I need to think about it and see if it aligns with my priorities of protecting my family first, my self-care and my health, and, what is specifically important to me first. And then, yes, I would love to do that. So just kind of thinking about that a little bit. But honestly, it goes back to using our choice, and that gives us the true power, choosing what we fill our day with, because we really can. And the more that we realize the truth of that and let go of any victim, not possible, it's only for those lucky people mindsets, the sooner we can really create our surroundings and find ultimate fulfillment. Let's keep working on this year. 2019 is a year of stepping up, creating, and receiving more than we ever have. Let's put in the work, do the best that we can, and see the results. Let's protect our family life, home, and what's truly important to us. Share this podcast with another mama, hit subscribe, and we'll see you next week on the Mom Training Podcast. Thank you so much for tuning into the Mom Training Podcast. If you liked what you heard, I would so appreciate a rating and review from you on any platform you listen to this on. If you have any questions or podcast ideas, you can message me on my social media at Diana Ballard Live or shoot me an email on my website. See you next week.